In this life, good people are often treated as though they were wicked, and wicked people are often treated as though they were good. This is so meaningless. Ecclesiastes 8:14. We look around at what's going on in the world. We see evil, we see injustice. We can easily say, life is not fair. And many of the writers of the Bible agreed with this. You see, the level of evil that occurs is so disturbing that it makes us wonder, how could a loving God allow this? How could a loving God exist? Habakkuk 1:13 says, "Your eyes are too pure to look upon evil, and you cannot tolerate wrongdoing. So why do you tolerate the faithless? Why are you silent while the wicked swallow up those more righteous than themselves?" Jeremiah 12:1 says, "Lord, you always give me justice when I bring a case before you. So let me bring you this complaint. Why are the wicked so prosperous? Why are evil people so happy?" So my first point is that it's normal to see the contrast between the evil world and God's character and wonder, why is there a mismatch? So if someone asks you this question, why does God allow evil? It may be your knee-jerk reaction to say something in defense of God, or to say something like, well, everything happens for a reason. But I want you to think about something. Someone may have experienced such a deep pain that doesn't make sense to them. By answering them in a dismissive way, not only does it minimize their pain, but it immediately shuts the door on a potentially seed planting conversation. So remember, as children of God, we need to walk in love and imitate the way of compassion that Jesus has shown us. So going back to our question, why does God allow evil? This is something that has crossed our minds at some point, if we're really honest with ourselves. And it is a question that is not easily answered. But I can tell you this, evil entered the world as a result of man's free choice to disobey God. After God laid out the options and the consequences, man still chose to disobey. And then came the curse of sin in humanity, which is so deep and powerful, it infected everything. It began to deteriorate what God had originally intended for us. So now we see the extent of that decay throughout the earth and humanity more and more as time goes on. And it is depressing. It should make us upset. There is something inside of every human that says, this can't be it. There has to be something better than this sad, sick world we live in. And that instinct is spot on. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says eternity is in the heart of man, meaning we have this innate desire for more built into us. We have a yearning for something that goes beyond the temporary. Our soul craves paradise because that was God's original intention. So it is okay to say life is not fair. This can't be it. Now, when we read the Bible, we see something very hopeful. God's revealed character throughout this book is consistent, and he is bound to his character. So he is unchanging. With that in mind, we are shown that part of his character is that he is just. He will vindicate and rescue those who trust in him. He will also pour out his wrath on those who do not. This is comforting to know that, one, God has our backs no matter what, and two, evil will be dealt with. Not only is he just, but he is inherently good and can only do good. So God, in his divine wisdom, can and will interweave all chaos and evil choices into a greater good plan that is beyond our scope. Yes, it is hard for us to see that from our limited perspective, and our spiritual eyes need to be opened to this, but it remains true. God, in his sovereignty, is always working everything together for good to those who love him and are called according to his purposes, which means you are included in the good plans if you are submitted to his will and following him. This is life-giving truth. His good plans will not fail, regardless of the seemingly prevailing evil in the world. The victory belongs to God. We just haven't seen the fulfillment of that yet. Also remember, God is holy and that he is totally unlike us. Isaiah 55 verse 8 says, "My thoughts are nothing like your thoughts. My ways are far beyond anything you can imagine." Proverbs 21:30, "No human wisdom or understanding or plan can stand against the Lord." What we think looks evil, what we think looks devastating and hopeless, is actually an opportunity for God to do the unexpected. His heart speaks redemption and restoration from cover to cover. So for those who are submitted to God, he can flip the situation around into something beautiful. A perfect example of this is Joseph's life. Joseph was betrayed by his family, sold into slavery, finally levels up, and then wrongly accused and thrown into prison. If anyone had a reason to shake their fist at God and say, "How could you allow this?" it was Joseph. Yet look at Genesis 50, verse 20. He says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. He brought me to this position so I could save the lives of many people." Let's wrap this up with Psalm 73, starting at verse 12. "Look at these wicked people enjoying a life of ease while their riches multiply. Did I keep my heart pure for nothing? Did I keep myself innocent for no reason? I get nothing but trouble all day long. Every morning brings me pain. If I had really spoken this way to others, I would have been a traitor to your people. So I tried to understand why the wicked prosper, but what a difficult task it is. Then I went into your sanctuary, O God, and I finally understood the destiny of the wicked. Truly, you put them on a slippery path and send them sliding over the cliff to destruction. In an instant, they are destroyed, completely swept away by terrors. When you arise, O Lord, you will laugh at their silly ideas as a person laughs at dreams in the morning. Then I realized that my heart was bitter, and I was all torn up inside. I was so foolish and ignorant, I must have seemed like a senseless animal to you. Yet I still belong to you. You hold my right hand. You guide me with your counsel, leading me to a glorious destiny. Whom have I in heaven but you? I desire you more than anything on earth. My health may fail and my spirit may grow weak, but God remains the strength of my heart. He is mine forever. Notice in verse 17 how the author's attitude changes after he goes into the sanctuary of God. When something is confusing you, when something doesn't make sense, when you feel anxious or depressed by the things going on in this world, by things that have happened to you or to your loved ones, I want to encourage you to go into the sanctuary of God. Spend time alone with God. Open up to God in a vulnerable way like this and express the way you feel. Express the things that are bothering you, because after you do that, He is going to reveal truth to you. Not only about the situation, but also if there's anything you're harboring in your heart, like the author says in verse 21, then I realized that my heart was bitter. And sometimes we're seeing life through a lens of bitterness, and we don't even realize it until God points it out and gives us an opportunity to surrender that to Him. There are going to be trials in this life. There are going to be difficult things that happen to us. And the enemy would love to plant a seed of doubt in our minds and make us question if God really loves us, if He even exists. If the enemy can get you to accept the lie that God is unfair, that God is responsible for the evil, then what will happen is you will begin to harden towards God and you'll stop trusting Him. You'll be relying on yourself, which leads to dead end after dead end. Keep in mind that we were not meant to understand everything, but we are commanded to trust in Him with our lives, even when it's inconvenient. Keep your mind fixed on the Word of God. Don't let a day go by without receiving that manna, and stay in constant conversation and communion with God. You have 24/7 access to speaking with Him because of what Jesus has done. Because Jesus made a way, we can now have relationship with God again. So take advantage of that. God desires your affection. He desires to hear from you in prayer. So pour out to Him. Give Him all your ugly. Give Him all your complaints. God can handle it. If this video inspired you, please share your feedback with me in the comments. Share this with a friend. Like, subscribe, and keep fighting the good fight. I will see you in the next video.